I don't know what happened. That video was supposed to pause, but it stopped. So this is part two. So, um, you got in 1970, 11% of the families were headed by single mothers. By 1999, 26% were headed by single mothers. Then in 1967, half of all mothers were half of all mothers were stay-at-home mothers. It said more than half of all mothers were stay-at-home mothers in 1967. By 1990, only 27% were stay-at-home mothers. And let's see what, well, we know from 96. So we know if in 1990, yeah, 1990 it was at 19. And it climbed steadily from then. 32, 36, 47. I mean, that's the incidence. 1990, it was at 20. So actually, it started at 20. It climbed from 42, from 20 fatally and wounded people in 1990. It climbed up to 42, 68, 48, 39, 32, 25, 51, and it steadily climbed. Okay. And that's from year 1990 when it went from more than half mother were stay-at-home mothers in 1967. But by 1990, 27% it was just 27% of mothers staying at home. All other mothers was working by 1990. And you see how the numbers where it climbed, the shootings and the killings, they climbed from 1990 to now. Okay? In 1990, it was only at 20 wounded and or it was killed and or wounded. In 1990, it was only 20. And it climbed steadily from 1990 all the way up to now. 70 to 80 more women, 70 to 80% more women were working than on welfare. So 70 to 80%, well over half of mothers were working. 70 to 80% were working mothers, and that was by 1990. It was more than half of them by the end was on welfare. And another thing I found out, you know how they try to demonize black women, saying that black women were on welfare? That's not what study shows. It shows that it was more white women, and I'm not racist, and I'm not bringing it out for a racist reason. I'm bringing it out just to let you know that sometimes people just lie. History lie. People wanted to demonize black women about being on welfare, and that I imagine because they wanted black women more enslaved than they did the white woman. But come to find out, it was more white women on welfare than it was black women. And most black women were turned away from welfare because it was either they had a man in the house wasn't suitable for, and what that mean, I don't know. House wasn't suitable for welfare, or the mother was working age and able-bodied. Something simple, something stupid like that. But then as years went on, they realized that the black mother were able, it was more able to receive welfare, so more black women began to get on welfare. But at first, black women wasn't even allowed on welfare too often. Okay, and that's neither here nor there, but it wasn't, Then I went from there, because to me, and then they labeled women back then welfare queens or worthy mothers. So if you were welfare, you were labeled a welfare queen. But if you were a working mother, they called you worthy mothers. And what kind of nonsense do that make? Now, emotional behavioral problems and educational. Okay, this is what I also looked up this. But this right here was done with middle and upper class women. Single family women, middle and upper class women. When me personally, I think they could have found out more from the poor family than the middle and the upper class women, working women. Because you got people that's working and still poor. You have people that is working, women, single women that are working and they're still poor. They still have to get Medicaid from the government and they still have to get some food stamps. But they did this study with middle and upper class women. And I really don't think that I don't think that was fair. They should have went to the poor family because after all, most of the issues that's coming from these children are from the poor family. You got some from middle and upper class families, but the majority of these young people that are in trouble, that are shooting and hurting others as well as themselves, they come from a poor family. Okay? Now, what the study found was emotional and behavioral problems, educational challenges, social development issues, health risk, increased risk of negative outcomes, congenital scores lower. I be saying congenitive. It's not congenitive. It's cognitive. Cognitive scores were lower. Low levels of internalizing behaviors. Over a 5-year study, this was done. And it say low levels of internalizing behaviors, such as anxiety and depressions, and high level on work ethics. So the children had a good work ethic, but all the rest of it, it was in the dumps. And this is from single mothers that are working. Now, I also looked up, where did I write this? I didn't write this when I photolized it because it was too much to write. This is my book that I write my Bible stuff on. But I wanted to do this. Okay. This I looked up because, like I said, I didn't sleep very well the day before yesterday. And it was different shootings and stuff that had happened. And that's when I found out it was another shooting that happened that day. But what really got me that night when it was time for me to go to bed was I kept seeing that baby Colt. I think his name is Colt Gray. I kept seeing his face. And I kept seeing his spirit. That baby have a pure, innocent, kind spirit. But because of the dad, the person that the law allowed to raise him, pushed him to what he did. From what the grandpa say, that dad is a narcissist. He is a narcissist. And there's no way in hell on this earth or the next that judge should have separated that baby from his mama and his 2 sisters. He should have been able to stay with his mama and his 2 sisters. And if the granddad had anything to do or say, even if he had a chance to talk to the judge, I'm quite sure that the grandpa told the judge that man was no good to raise that baby. But yet that judge put that baby in the care of that man, a narcissist. So I took the initiative to look up what is the outcome of a child, a young teen, being raised in a house with a narcissist. And it described this baby to the T. Colt is not a bad kid. That baby don't know love. That baby have been talked down to, talked down at, talked down about from the mouth of his dad. The thing that called himself that boy dad. Colt don't need to be in prison. He do not need to be in prison. That dad do. And all the other adults around him that failed him do. As far as I'm concerned, Colt need to be in a hospital where he can get some help for the mental issues and scars that has the mental issues and scars And the issues and scars that has been placed in his heart from that man that called himself his dad. Court need to be put in a hospital to be revived from all that mess that man put on him. And then he need to be placed in a home or around people that are able to love him in the way that a mom and dad is supposed to love him and rear him up. This is what that baby needs. I mean, I cried and I cried and I called out to God all night long. I wasn't able to go sleep till 6 something in the morning, and then I cried myself to sleep. Just calling out Court great name. All I could see is that baby sitting in that place, in that cell, with tears in his eyes, wondering what happened to his life. He's only 14. 14. A judge that's supposed to be able to see the best place for these kids placed them in a house with his dad. It wasn't the best place for him. His dad went and bought him a gun, and that baby used it. Mm. 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 Oh my God. That judge was not supposed to place that baby in the house with that man. Not a baby sitting in jail, because all the adults, the ones that's supposed to be teaching him and raising him and looking out for him, his best interests at heart, they dropped the ball. The mom called the same day, 30 minutes before time, to tell them to go get her son. It's an extreme emergency to go get him. Run and get him. 30 minutes before the incident, and nobody went and got him. And then they said that's because we was trying to contact the police. But when the shooting happened, how long did it take the police to get there? It wasn't no 30 minutes. If I'm not mistaken, it was less than 10. And it took 30 minutes when a mom that called and told you that he's got that gun on him to go get him. To go get him is an extreme emergency. And nobody in that school, you got security guards in the school. Nobody in that school went and got that baby. And now y'all want to call him a monster. Y'all want to say he's psychopathic, schizophrenic. No, the baby haven't been taught. The baby been talked down on all his life. The baby been in a house with a narcissist, which is probably a psychopath. And then he put a gun in his hand after he done tore that baby head up and tore his heart up. When you look at Court, all you see is a sweet, kind spirit encased in a shell that just looked like he just lost. He just lost. I don't know. He ain't know no love while he was growing up, and he ain't getting no love from the world. He ain't getting no love from the he ain't getting no love from the world. He ain't getting no love from the judges. He ain't getting no love from the lawyers. He ain't getting no love from the social workers. He ain't getting no love from nobody. That baby been here 14 years. He done had more shit piled on him than anybody that I know. 14. 14. And I don't care about nobody talking about that's a black woman crying out for a white man. That is a baby. I don't see no color. And not just him, there's many other kids that is in the same situation that he's in, of all races. But it's something about him that has struck my spirit, and it won't let me rest. It won't let me rest. If y'all put that baby in prison, y'all is doing the wrong thing. Y'all doing the wrong thing. Put that baby in a hospital. Nurse him back to health. That is a good spirit in that young man. That's a good spirit in that man's body. Pull him back. Anybody that go through that kind of hell from birth up, is something special about them. And God put him in this earth for a special reason. It's something special about that boy. Don't put that baby in prison. Put him in a hospital and get him together and put him around somebody that's going to love and nurture and nourish him. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. Don't hurt him any longer. Help that baby. Help him. Now, this is what happens when you are raised up by a narcissist. Come on, pop in. Come on. Okay, guys, I don't want to pop in. Let me pull it up again. I had pulled it up on my computer. Let's see. This is not giving me what I had. Let me give y'all what I can see. Because this describes this baby, I mean, completely. Emotional and behavior issues, self-esteem issues with identity. You get interpersonal relationships. Teens might struggle with forming healthy relationships. They may either mimic narcissist behaviors or become overly submissive in relationships. Mental health issues. Elevated narcissism in parents is linked to a higher risk of mental health issues in their children, including depression and anxiety. And you get behavioral problems. Adolescents with narcissistic parents may exhibit delinquent behavior, aggression, and other maladaptive behaviors. And there was two more that I can't see. I can't see those two, but I did give y'all it says emotional and behavioral issues and self-esteem and identity issues. Now, guys, to me that describes what that Colt Gray is going through. He's got all of that and some. He was raised, like his grandpa said, by a narcissist. The man he just dumped on that boy all the time. And the boy is just lost. He just lost. Put that baby, if you want to do a research on somebody, do it on him. Do it on Colt Gray, so that y'all can really understand what a child is going through being raised by a narcissist. That is a good kid. That guy is a good kid. He's got good things to offer to the world. And I would hate for y'all to lock that up and just throw it away. He's worth more than that. He's worth more than that. Please, stop always judging things. It's more to what's going on with these kids today than what you think. Just because they mess up or do something, they react in a way that they should not react. They may take somebody's life, they may wound somebody, hurt somebody, and you're ready to just throw them in prison. But today's kid, you got to understand, there's nobody at home to teach these kids or to raise these kids or to instill the right values, morals, and standards in them that they're supposed to be instilled in them. And then if they're at home, and then if the dad is at home, some of them is like Colt dad. Colin, a straight up butt wipe. Then you got the homes where it's only just the moms in the house. And she not even at home because she out working. And then the ones that is at home, they drunkards or alcoholics or drug users. You got very few that's at home, stay-at-home moms that are literally teaching their children and raising them like they're supposed to. And that's what we need to get back to. Moms, all moms being at home, raising the children. And if the mom sees that man is not right, even though he the dad, she needs to make some moves and get the hell away from him. Because these children are more important than anything. The children is the future. If you keep locking them up and keep killing them, you ain't going to have no future. And that's why I believe old boy making them robots. He knows something more than we know. Because the kids is killing each other off. And the ones that ain't killing each other off, you're throwing them in prison. Come on, somebody. We can't keep on doing this. All this talking and talking, it's got to stop. We need some action. We need some action. Do something. Somebody needs to do something. Somebody needs to do something. I'm tired of hearing all this. Well, we need to change the gun policies and we need to get the kids that need mental health. The baby was even asking for help for mental health, and nobody even gave him help with mental health. It's always talking, but never doing. Now we need to do. Government, president, representatives, Congress, senators, we need to do. We don't need to keep on talking. Y'all need to do something. Anytime somebody like Cork Great get caught up in a situation like this, see, I can see his spirit. Some of y'all can, but some of y'all can't. I could see that baby's spirit. That's not a bad guy. That is a good guy. That is a good kid that was placed in the wrong home. That man wasn't like that when he had that baby, because God wouldn't have gave that man that baby. But because whatever went on in that man's life, he dumped it off on that baby. And that goes with a lot of situations. Y'all can't just look at these kids today and say, okay, well, they did this and it was time to lock them up. You can't just look at the kids like that today. You can't. There is totally different. Their situations today is totally different than ours was yesterday. Back in the day when kids my age or older messed up, they had the opportunity to go to prison or go to the military. And most of them chose the military. And they turned out to be generals and corporals and all kinds of stuff. A lot of them made careers in the military. Then some of them came home and went on to be a police officer, and they became high up in there. Some of them became mayors and whatnot because they had that option. Now you just throw them in prison. Back then, you were really trying to help. The government was really trying to help the young men when they messed up and did things like this. But today, y'all not trying to help. Y'all just throwing them away. And then some of them, y'all kill them. Y'all just throw them away. Instead of killing these kids and whatnot, when they mess up like that, why kill them? Put them in the military. Why lock them up for the rest of their life? Put them in the military. Give them a chance to learn. Give them a chance to do better. Give them a chance to see that there's more to life. And I know y'all say, oh, they done killed somebody. Why put them in the military with guns? Well, you did it in the 60s and 70s. Y'all got more people trained around a little group of them at one time than that little group. Pull in a little group like y'all do now. Y'all ain't got to pull in no hundreds and thousands. Just pull in. If you want to pull in 100 of them at a time, you make sure y'all got enough soldiers around there if they decide they want to rise up, which they don't normally get guns nowhere until it's time for them to go on assignment or something. Or after a boot camp, or if they doing a shooting, the range thing. And make sure it's enough people around to watch if they decide they want to rise up and act ugly. You do what you got to do. But give them a chance. Give them a chance. See, I was always taught if you know better, you do better. If you don't know no better, you don't do no better. Humans are like animals. Humans have animal instinct. And if you don't train that person to know how to control that instinct, to have self-control, to have understanding, if you don't train them in that area, they don't know. If you don't train them to be able to be respectful to themselves and others, they don't know. If you don't train them to be able to conversate and work issues out with other people, they don't know. And these are the trainings that they're not getting. Why? Because there's nobody at home training them. And then y'all would say, well, they go to daycare. Daycare don't teach nobody nothing. I worked at one of the best daycares anybody could have. And it was a General Motors daycare. I do believe that was General Motors. Maybe it wasn't General Motors. I don't know which one it was, but I know it was one of these dealership daycares. And I was in Flint, Michigan at this time. And I used to clean the daycare up. It was a nice daycare, you know. And they had little classrooms and whatnot. But if you listen into them classrooms, them children weren't being taught nothing. They weren't being taught nothing. And if they messed up, they didn't get no spanking or nothing like that. Wait, no, don't do that. No, that's not right. They might hold their hands. But they're not teaching them nothing versus being at home with mama when they mess up from up. When they mess up, they get that no. Or get that little leg. No. And daycare, they're not getting no discipline. What does discipline teach a child? It teaches them that there are consequences to every action that you do. If you mess up, you're going to have a consequence that you got to pay that you're not going to like. That's why you teach them from a child up. And that's what discipline is about. Because don't no kid like being on their hand or on their leg. Don't nobody the first thing, because they don't like that. It hurts. That is a consequence that you got to pay if you mess up. You put them in daycare, they're not getting that. They're just getting a no, don't do that. And then as they grow up, what they do, they react in a way that they shouldn't react. And some daycare, and that was the best, though. That one, it wasn't General Motors, UAW. I don't know what it was. It was something to do with car dealerships. I think it was UAW when I'm thinking about it. But anyway, it was one of the best child care development centers. But they didn't really teach them children nothing. They didn't really teach them. They didn't teach them discipline. At nighttime, them babies get to crying, and they would just cry when nobody go pick the baby up. I remember time I had to pick some of them babies up and I wasn't supposed to. And the nurse came in there, one of the workers came in and seen me holding the baby. Said, no, ma'am, you can't do that. You're a cleaner. Yeah, I'm a cleaner, but I'm in here cleaning here too. And this baby's screaming and y'all act like y'all don't hear him. I'm not finna let this baby lay here and cry. See, I'm telling you. And you know what? I'm going to take the name. I don't know what it was. I just know it was a car place. Child care. I don't think it was General Motors. It probably wasn't UAW either. So I'm thinking I maybe shouldn't even mention the name. Even if I did remember. I can't remember the name of it though. But I don't think it was UAW or General Motors. So, but that's one of the best child care places you could go. And I'm telling you, them children wasn't taught discipline. They wasn't taught. They taught them like ABCs, 1, 2, 3, stuff like that. But anything that was of value to life that a mother would teach, no, them children wasn't being taught. Nope. Anything that would cause them to be able to not get in situations where they have to hurt somebody or cause somebody to hurt them, no, they were not being taught that. And them children from babies up to I see maybe 12 year olds they put in there. And when them 10, 11, 12-year-olds cut up, they wasn't getting disciplined either. They wasn't even being put in the corner. They just walk up to them and grab them by the arm and be like, no, you don't do that. You know you don't do that. LMA, you don't do that. That's the only thing they did. But y'all know, being a mother, you're not going to just do that. Depends on what they doing. Mamas need to go home and raise your children and teach them about life the correct way. Don't play with them, because when police come, they're not going to play with them. If they end up being locked up in prison, they're being locked up with people in cages, and some have been there for years that don't know how to control themselves, some of them. Some of them do, but some of them don't. You got to raise your children in the proper manner. You got to. If you teach them self-control and how to conduct themselves and how to look over ignorance, all these shooting and stuff that's going on in the schools, it won't happen. Because if they go to school and somebody gets to trying to bully them or talk crazy about them, that child, you have taught them how to look over that foolishness. So now that child hearing this, but that child done closed his ear to it, because why? Mama done taught them, baby, when somebody gets talking about you because they don't like the way you look or your hair or your shoes or whatever, baby, you close their ear. And you train them to close their ear. You start talking to them, you tell them, block me out. Now, sometime the kid gonna be like, Ma, but after a while, because I've done it, after a while, then you can sit there, you can talk all kind of nonsense, and that child ain't heard nothing you done said. You train that child up in the way it's supposed to go. You train them. And they're not getting this training in no doggone daycare. This is training that mama is supposed to give them. And then mama's supposed to give them that love all day and all night. And you're supposed to give them, you cook. All this outings to these restaurants and whatnot. No. You're supposed to go in that kitchen and cook. And bake from scratch. If you don't know how to cook, baby, pick up a cookbook. I was cooking for my kids. I had kids since I was 15. And when the Lord called me back at 32, y'all, I swear I knew I could cook. But when the Lord called me back at 32, he began to deal with me about truth and honesty and whatnot. I said, Lord, to be honest with you, I don't know how to cook. I said, yeah, sure, I go in there and cook a piece of chicken and throw something in the oven and whatnot, I said, but I can't cook. Baby, what I tell the Lord that for? The Lord taught sister how to cook, okay? It was like I was in the South all over again. I ain't never even been to the South, but I felt like I was, because the Lord took me home. Do you hear me? And I was cooking from scratch. I wasn't using no box stuff. My grandbabies and stuff, my daughters and stuff, I sent them to the store to do groceries for me. They come back with this box stuff. I got to read the box to see what the heck to do with it. I don't know nothing about no box food. They got to teach me how to use box food. So, y'all, I'm telling y'all, being a mother is a joy. It's not hard. And it ain't no shame in being a mother at home. It's the most beautiful experience you could ever have. You get to play with them. You get to talk to them. You get to teach them. You get to listen to them. You get to tell them different things. They get to tell you different things. They get to ask some of the most stupidest, silliest, craziest questions you ever did hear. They would tell you different jokes that you never, ever, 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 ever heard. I mean, it's a joy it's a joy to be a stay-at-home mother. The different things go on in the house, you and the kid or kids, take your hand, put your hand together, and put your head together to try to fix it before you have to spend that money to go pay somebody else to do it. Y'all put your head together, you try to fix it together. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff. You teach them how to cook, you teach them how to clean, you teach them everything. Like I said, you pour your love on them all day and all night. When issues go on at school, you there, whether it's morning, noon, or afternoon. If they got a problem in the daytime, they got a problem at nighttime, you right there. If they having bad dreams, you ain't at work when they having them nightmares. You at home. Go in there, grab it, baby. Okay, it's okay. I'm here. It's a joy to be a mother. It's not bad and it's not a crime to be a mother. It is a beautiful experience for the mother and for the child. You are giving memories to that child. And that child is giving memories to you. The child ain't go, oh, nah, well, my mom worked all the time. You get to go to their games. You get to go to their plays. You get to do everything that you're supposed to do as a mom. You be sitting there talking to your friend. You remember that play we did in the 6th grade? Oh, my mama this, that, and the other. And then you can't say your mom, oh, my mama had to work that day, remember? Oh, y'all remember them cupcakes my mama cooked? Oh, them things was good. Yeah, my mama never cooked us no cupcakes. She was at work. Come on, somebody. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's time to go home and raise your children. It's time to go home and raise your children. Them babies be bullied at school. If you raise them in the right way, my kids, like I said, I don't know if I posted this or whatnot, but one of them tried to kill. One of them tried to stab somebody, and thank God it was a parent there. You know, parents are supposed to work together. It's a village, not me and you. It's us that's raising these children. And they kept on bullying one of my younger sons. It was the second to the youngest. They kept bullying him. And then the one up over him, they got tired. They went to the teachers. They went to the principal. They did what they were supposed to do. I did what I was supposed to do. Every day coming home from work, I had to run up to that doggone school. And nothing happened. Then one day he tried to cut somebody. Then now they want to kick him out for the school year. Want to send him and me to the psychiatrist. Because I told the school board that if somebody kick your door open, you ain't going to just sit there and let them continue to kick your door open. You're going to do what you got to do. You'd have told the police, and you'd have told them 3-4 times. They act like they can't go to them. You'd have told them who it is. But they can't find no evidence. They ain't got enough common sense to just sit out and watch. They can sit somewhere in a plain car and just watch. Well, the nigga keep kicking my door open at 12 o'clock midnight every night. You mean to tell me that the police ain't got enough sense to come and sit somewhere around the corner where they could see your door and watch the person come and kick your door in and they come on up and get them? No, they didn't have enough sense to do that. And I told them, I said, you call the police over and over again and they don't do nothing. You go to the chief of police, nothing. The mayor, nothing. But what you gonna do? Is you gonna let them continue to kick your door open, or you gonna do what you gotta do to keep them from kicking your door? Told me I was crazy. Told my son he was crazy for trying to cut somebody. He got mental issues. And no, I wasn't no mental issues. You know what it was? It was mama was working instead of being her tail at home, raising that kid and being there for that kid. Because when that stuff was happening, I should have been right there when it was happening so I could talk to not only just mine, but the kids that was giving them issues. If I had been at home with my children, that wouldn't have happened. Those other kids wouldn't have been bullying them because I was a mother and I would have been able to talk to them. Baby, you don't do that to nobody. If somebody did it to you, how would you feel? And you're doing this every day. How would you feel? Do you want someone to do you like this? Would you want somebody to do your little brother, little sister like this? See, mothers, you need to be at home raising your children. And all these mamas don't want nobody to say nothing to their children. So y'all better stop. If you tell me don't say nothing to your child, if I'm up at the school and your child causing my child an issue, and I'm not howling, screaming at your child, but I'm correcting your child, you come up saying you don't say nothing to my child, I talk to him. Okay. Now, if I seen that same child in a situation where somebody was trying to hurt him, or somebody was trying to take him, and I just watched it and didn't do nothing, how would you feel as a mother? That's what I thought. You said, well, you watched them take my child. You watched them hurt my child. Well, you told me don't touch your child. Don't say nothing to your child. Are you following what I'm saying? See, hey, all this foolishness and nonsense in this earth has got to stop. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. You tell me don't say nothing to your child and I see somebody about to take them and I can run up and just run their asses over and get out and with my bat or my gun and deal with that attempted kidnapping from your child. But instead, because you told me to not say nothing to your child, now your child is all jacked up. But who fault would it be? You be saying, but you know, dude, you should have, but you told me not to. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So mothers, it's time to come back to being real mothers. All this nonsense gotta go. There's too many children being killed on a daily basis. On a daily, 365 days a year, there's a kid somewhere being hurt in one form or fashion or another way. Are you understanding me? Now, y'all, with that, this is the second video, and altogether, this video is about an hour and a half. And I didn't mean to take it this long, but this is a very important issue, and it is heavy on my heart, and it is close to my heart, and I need to speak out on it. Okay? So, y'all, I love y'all with the love of Christ, and I pray that y'all get something out of this video, and that y'all will take heed to it. And y'all, let's go to Congress. Anybody that's willing to go to Congress with me, all my kids are grown. I have grandkids, but most of them is grown. So y'all, you mothers, you working mothers, that is willing and wanting to stay at home with your children and understand what I'm saying, come and go to Congress with me. If you want to contact me, I'm going to leave my email in the comments. I think I was supposed to put it on another one, I forgot, but I'm going to try not to forget this time. I'm going to leave my email in the comments, and please email me a way to contact you so that we can make plans to go to Congress so that the parents, the mothers that want to stay at home can stay at home and raise their children. Our children need us. They need us. And when I say our children, although my children are grown and most of my grandchildren are grown, your child is my child. My child is your child. They're our children. They're not my children. They're not your children. They're our children. So please, I'm leave my email. Contact me. Contact me. Okay? And leave me a way to contact you, whether it be an email or phone. But we need to go to Congress. Mamas need to go home to their children. The children been crying out for years. Please listen to them. Listen to them. Hear their cry. Hear their cry finally, please. Now, again, I love you with the love of Christ. And until next time, peace, stay blessed.